Okay, I want to lay out a case here that America. There's two cases. America and the world is going to be in a very different place come probably August, but definitely by November. Okay, a very different place. And your friends are going to be freaking out, and they are going to listen to the people that have caused the chaos and emergency. It is very important that you know, and you're warning your friends, and you are prepared for these things now. I think this summer, and I'm always wrong on timing, but I'm telling you, we are headed for a different America from the one you're living in right now. Let me lay out the case. The second case, by the way, is it's all planned. This is coordinated. They know exactly what they're doing. Let's start with gas. The average price of regular gas hit another high Monday, reaching $4.59 per gallon. That's the highest recorded price on record. That's the average national price. Mid-grade is now hitting $5 a gallon. It's at $4.97 a gallon, actually, to be technical. And premium is $5.25. Diesel is at $5.55. Now, my question is, how long can you pay $5 a gallon? I guarantee you that by the end of the summer, you are going to be paying $6 to $7 a gallon. By August, you will have paid or will be paying national average. That's not California.
The word guaranteed was used there. Usually includes some sort of retribution if you're wrong. What would you like to include in the guarantee?
I'll fire you.
Well, that doesn't. Wait.
Okay, well, I don't know. Nothing comes off the top of my head.
But you're saying national average, $6 to $7. What's the national average today again?
The national average today is $4.59. We haven't hit summer yet. Summer is when it always goes up. $6 a gallon. I can't imagine it not hitting $6.
I'm putting it in your prediction calendar.
Okay.
By August, beginning of August or end of August?
No, do end of August. Do it by Labor Day. Okay. Diesel is going to hit $7 to $10 a gallon. Now, this isn't just by itself, okay? By the way, over the last month, you've added 47 cents per gallon. That's a pretty fast climb, is it not? The U.S. retail price could surge by August, this according to J.P. Morgan's commodity research head, to $6.20 on the national average. So if I say 6 to 7,
you're in the range.
I'm in the range. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, what's causing this? Well, it's Putin. Joe Biden just said something very, very important out loud. Remember, you want to take every crisis, every serious crisis, and make it into lemonade. You want to find a way to transform things. You can do it with a crisis. So here's crisis number one. Yesterday in Japan, the president said that we're in an incredible transition. Here's the situation. It's like he doesn't know that our press and cameras are over there in Japan. Here's the situation. I'm quoting from him. When it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that's taking place that, God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over. Now, what does that mean? This is why they are shutting down the oil refineries. They're shutting down the search for oil. And they're doing it how? They're doing it through ESG, build back better. So what does that mean? Well, we got to build back better. So as things become decrepit, things are falling apart, well, we're going to build back better. We're going to build back with clean energy. This is a plan. No matter what the president says about Putin, I wouldn't put it past them again looking at Putin. Remember, we were egging him on. I wouldn't put it past Putin or the administration to say, another benefit is they've got a lot of the oil and your gas prices, remember this quote from Barack Obama, will necessarily go up. This is something the Obama administration talked about, that gas prices, if you had a carbon tax, everything would go up, which would mean you would want to get off of fossil fuels. This is a created emergency, and they know exactly what they're doing. Okay. Now let me give you the next one. Another crisis. Biden has just asked officials to begin preparing a plan to order the release of fuel from the Northeast Home Heating Oil Reserve. This is a government stockpile of ultra-low sulfur diesel that the last time we tapped into it was 2012 during Hurricane Sandy. They are now talking about tapping into this. Now, the entire stockpile for the East Coast is just slightly more than 1 million barrels of diesel. Slightly more than 1 million barrels of diesel. You know what that will do? That will cover 65%. If we use every drop of it, 65% of the East Coast's daily demand. It won't even cover a full day of diesel. It's strategic. Now, we've already taken our strategic oil reserves, and we've already depleted them. They're at the lowest levels they have been. Did you feel that at the gas pump? Because I didn't. I didn't notice that when that happened. We're now at the lowest levels. Now, this is another crisis I want you to be aware of. First of all, if things get worse in Ukraine or they don't get better in Ukraine, we have 13 days of diesel for the East Coast remaining. Now, I'm assuming we're continuing to make some to hold that off, but those days are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. I don't know when we run out or we have to start rationing, but gang, we are 13 days away from no diesel fuel on the East Coast if anything happens. Now, what do you think that's going to do? That will stop all of the trains. It will stop all of the trucks. It will stop all of the ships. It will stop just about anything our military could possibly do. Okay, so we have that crisis. We have the crisis of there's no strategic oil reserve, and we are, or very little left, and we are depleting it. Now, let me give you the next one. This, according to the UN's World Food Program official, David Beasley. He said yesterday, the planet was facing a global food crisis before Russia invaded Ukraine. Let me read that again. Quote, the planet was facing a global food crisis before Russia invaded Ukraine, which is known as the breadbasket of Europe as it feeds 400 million people. This is reported today by Bloomberg. Along with mass migration from the ongoing war, UN's World Food Program official David Beasley is concerned that Russia's invasion has compounded the crisis facing the human race. Listen carefully. Failure to open up the ports is a declaration of war on our global food security. there were 49 million people knocking on famine's door across 43 countries before Russia invaded Ukraine. They have to be extremely concerned about how destabilization and mass migration might affect the food supplies if we don't get ahead of this. We shouldn't kid ourselves that there are limits to Putin's brutality. The task here at Davos is for the world leaders to recognize that hunger is being used as a weapon. He called the impending global food shortage a catastrophe. Okay, so you knew in advance there was already famine on the way for 49 million. Ukraine feeds 400 million people. And the ports are blocked. And so what did we tell you yesterday? That yesterday our State Department verified, our Pentagon denied it, but the State Department said they're working on a plan, the United States is working on a plan to sink the Black Sea fleet of Russia. Well, that's an act of war. But is that something you do if they're blocking the ports because blocking the ports is an act of war? You have massive fuel shortages, massive, which will include summer blackouts. You then have massive food problems and shortages, which will cause massive migration problems. And don't forget, our border is wide open, and we've told everybody in South America, we've got plenty. In fact, we have too much, and all of that stuff we have, we stole from you and others. So come on and get it. I haven't even gotten to the good part yet. War, but not just war. I mean, global war, not just war with Russia, global war, including China. I'll explain in 60 seconds. So yesterday, President Biden and then the White House immediately walked it back, but China heard it, and then he said, I've already explained my position in my speech. So what we have here, gas, an energy crisis, blackouts this summer, war possible because of the food shortages and the Black Sea being blocked by Russia. Taiwan. President said, if they invade Taiwan, we will defend them. You have food shortages, massive food shortages. Hopefully not the food shortages here in America, but you're going to have the migration problem here in America. And you're going to have a problem getting the food if we're paying $8 a gallon for diesel fuel. You'll have a hard time even affording the food. These things just there, they lead to a national emergency. You don't want a national emergency declared because we've seen what the government can do once it declares a national emergency. But I haven't talked to you yet about monkeypox. Monkeypox, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this week the Biden administration is changing our deal with the WHO. He's making it so the WHO can come in without our permission and declare emergencies, and that gives them global authority. He has submitted things to our agreement that are just removing lines of protection for national sovereignty, and that's what they're voting on, and it won't have to go through the Senate because of the way he's done it. So you have that fun little fact that we're dealing with, monkeypox, which they're now coming out and saying the CDC warning to gay, bisexual men, it's spreading in your community. Be careful. Then you have, on top of that, chaos on the streets, not only because of what's coming with the Supreme Court, if that indeed does happen, but you also will have uprisings on the streets for all kinds of political things, I'm sure, leading up to the election. Oh, and one other thing, crime completely out of control on our cities. What do you think we look like by November? You never, ever. Oh, but did I add next week? It's a week from tomorrow night. We're doing a special on the emergency orders and the new FEMA directives. Did you know this? FEMA's changed some of its directives. Wait until you hear about that. We are in a very, very different world by the end of the summer. I pray that I am wrong about the timing. But if it doesn't happen this summer, it's going to happen because all of these things, the gas, it's not Putin's fault. This is a crisis they have been wanting to have. They want you to pay $10 a gallon for gasoline. They want the fleet to age out. Did you see? Americans are driving older cars than ever before. Our fleet is older than ever before in American history. What does that mean? Well, if you can't afford to buy a car in the next few years, once you can afford to buy a new car, you're going to buy an electric one. So that problem solves itself with gas because you'll only have a choice of electric soon. The war, we have been egging them on, and now we are beating the war drums like nobody's business. Food, we knew that was a problem. That's going to lead us to war, possibly. Migration, what are we doing at the border? All of these things are intentional. All of these things are... Did you vote for this? Did you vote for a dramatic transition, something that America is going to be so much better off for in the long run? Did you vote for this gas price? Because it's intentional.